So hello. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and also support my small business at latricelemon.com. So as you guys can see in that video, this video is from South Korea. They have had a severe flooding that has taken place. Okay. And it is very upsetting about what has happened. I mean, so far, 9 people have died from this. I mean, you got water. I mean, there's a picture of a car, and that car is about halfway done. You know what I mean? And you can't drive that. You can't be going around driving that stuff. You got people, who the water's coming all the way up here. It's just insane. You got there was another picture. I could put it up here actually, where the lady, she's, just trying to get this water out of her shop, because it's so much that's going on. And unfortunately, and this is kind of what reminds me of the New York one that happened not too long ago, like 3 months ago now, that flooding that happened in New York, where essentially people who could not, New York is expensive. Okay. So you got the poor people who you just can't afford a nice high-rise building somewhere. Right. So essentially what you had people who could not afford much. They lived in basements. Okay. Basements underground. Okay. So essentially what happened was those people, pretty much a lot of them died because they were being flooded out. I mean, it was just flooding. I mean, you're underground. That's going to hit you before it hits somebody who's on the 7th floor, obviously. And that's what ended up happening in South Korea as well. And that's what they were saying. It says right here, it says in South Korea, people with lower incomes often lived in basement apartments, like I said, in New York as well. And that's essentially what trapped them. And they were, a lot of, some of them end up dying because of it. It's crazy. I mean, this also goes into the climate change that I've been talking about. It's heartbreaking that people aren't thinking like, yo, we need to do something about it. And this isn't something that just stops with one person's government. No, this is something that has to be done throughout the world. But I'll go on with the story though about South Korea and their flooding. And the pictures are just, I mean, you can see them. It's really bad. It says 3 members of one family drowned in their basement home on Monday night as the water started to rise rapidly. Neighbors tried to help but were unable to save them, according to the newspaper. The victims were reported to be 46-year-old mother, her 13-year-old daughter, and the mother's sister, a 47-year-old with a developmental disability. And they said that they tried to rescue them, but they couldn't. The water pressure is just, and that's what's so scary about water as well. The water pressure could just become so much that it'll just overtake you. And that's also why they say that, for example, let's say you accidentally, something happened, now your car is in a river or something, right? And you're trying to get out, but you just can't. That's why they have like those little tools with like the little needle on the side, and then you could puncture your glass, and then it'll help you get out. Because the thing about it is, when you have the water pressure that is so great, you can't open up your car door. That's why you don't see people open up the car doors, because you can't open your car door up. But that's just so upsetting about what's going on over there. And because, I mean, this is something that you can't predict. You know what I mean? This is something that you can't change this. This isn't something that you're like, oh, well, maybe if I didn't go left that day. No, it's something that just happened. But this goes with climate change. This is huge. People getting hot, you getting severe storms that are going on. You get earthquakes, everything is just going to be ramped up ongoing. And this seems like the worst, because you're having, record level, low water in the lakes and seas. You're having extreme heat, record levels of that as well. Now you're getting crazy storms like this. It's becoming too much, and it's like we need to get some kind of help for this. Okay, we can't combat this in 5 years. We can't combat this in 10 years. We can't combat this in 2. It needs to start now. Absolutely, right now is when it needs to start. But those are my thoughts and opinions on this. Until then.